Once there was a poor fisherman named Tom. He lived by the sea in a small town called Greenfield. Every day he tried to catch fish, but he rarely caught enough to feed his family. Tom had a wife named Sarah and three little kids. Some days he came home with nothing, and they had to go to bed hungry. Tom usually caught very small fish. One day, he felt something strange when he pulled up his net. He found a large old boot. What a bad day, he thought angrily. He tossed it back into the water and tried again. This time, he pulled up a bag of rusty spoons. Disappointed, he threw them back too. What can I do? He sighed. I'm a poor man. I want to sell fish and buy food for my children. He tried one last time. This time, he felt something heavy in the net. He pulled up an old, dirty jar. It looked green. Maybe it's nothing, he said, but then he decided to wash it. To his surprise, when he cleaned it, the jar shone bright gold. There were strange words on the top, but he could not read them. Tom jumped up happily. I can sell this, he shouted. Today is a good day. He looked at the jar carefully. Maybe there's something inside, he thought. Curious, he opened the jar and looked inside. Suddenly, a big cloud of white smoke poured out, and a huge giant appeared. Tom was scared. The giant spoke loudly. Now, fisherman, I will kill you. Why? Cried Tom. What did I do? When you opened the jar, for that, I am going to kill you. How do you want to die? I can crush you with my hands or throw you into the sea. But why do you want to kill me? Asked Tom. I will tell you, said the giant. Once the king of the giants was very angry with me. I took his youngest daughter for a walk by the sea, and he did not like it. He trapped me in this jar, and I couldn't get out because he wrote his name on the top. I thought someone would open the jar and I could make them a great king or queen. But after 100 years, no one came. After 200 years, I thought I would make them rich. But after 300 years, I was angry. Now you are that person, fisherman. How do you want to die? Tom thought quickly. I have one question, he said. Will you answer it? I will, said the giant. But hurry. Were you really in that jar? Asked Tom. Yes, the giant answered. But you are so big, and your hand is as big as the jar. Think before you speak. Is there nothing inside your head? Tom was clever. The giant, however, was not very smart. I will show you, the giant yelled angrily. Suddenly, he vanished into white smoke again, and the smoke went back into the jar. You see, he shouted from inside the jar. Quickly, Tom put the top back on the jar. Ha! Now, giant, he said, I will throw you back into the sea. Maybe someone else will find you in another 300 years. Please open the jar, begged the giant. I will make you a rich man. No, you will kill me, answered Tom. No, I won't, I promise, said the giant. I will make you very, very rich. Tom thought for a minute. All right, he said, and opened the jar again. White smoke filled the air, and the giant appeared once more. Thank you, fisherman, said the giant. I will not forget this. Come with me. Tom followed the giant over the hills and around the city. They arrived at a beautiful sea that sparkled blue and gold. In the water, there were many fish. Now catch something, said the giant. I will watch you. In no time, Tom caught 3 beautiful fish, red, white, and gold. Take these fish to your king, said the giant. He will give you a lot of money for them. With that, the giant vanished, and the blue and gold smoke swirled into the ground. When the king saw the fish, he exclaimed, "Those are beautiful. I will give you gold for them." Then he told his servant, "Take these fish to the chef. We will eat them tonight." Tom took his gold home to Sarah and the kids. They enjoyed a wonderful dinner of bread, meat, fruits, and vegetables. For the first time in their lives, they were not hungry. In the kitchen, the king's chef cooked the fish over a fire. Suddenly, blue and gold smoke rose up, and a strange woman appeared. "Fish, fish, are you doing your work?" she asked. The fish did not answer at first. Then their heads popped up, and they said, "We are happy." The strange woman pushed the fish into the fire. The smoke turned blue and gold, and the woman disappeared. The king and his servant entered the kitchen. "I am waiting for the fish. Where are they?" he asked the chef. The chef pointed at the fire. "I can't serve these fish," he exclaimed. The king wanted to see the woman, so he told Tom, "Bring me 3 more fish." When Tom returned with the fish, the king gave him even more gold. The chef cooked the fish again, and this time the smoke turned red and gold. A big man with red hair appeared. "Fish, fish, are you doing your work?" he asked. The fish replied, "We are happy." Again, the man pushed the fish into the fire and vanished in red and gold smoke. The king was amazed. "This is magic," he said. "Where do you get these fish?" "I catch them from a sea of blue and gold water over the mountains," answered Tom. The king asked his servant, "Do you know the sea?" "No," replied the servant. "I go across the mountain, but I never see a blue and gold sea. Will you take us there?" "Of course," said Tom. The king and his men followed Tom over the mountain to the blue and gold sea. When they arrived, they saw the magical fish swimming in the water, shining like jewels. "Wait here," said the king. He took 2 men and walked around the sea. They found a big house made of red stone. The gardens around the house were full of beautiful flowers. There was no answer when the king knocked, but the door was open, so he entered. Inside, he found many lovely rooms, but no people. He came to a large room with high windows. Suddenly, he heard someone speak. "When will I die? I don't want to live." The king looked around and saw a young man lying on the floor with a coat covering his legs. "I know you are a king," said the young man, "but I cannot stand up." The king lifted the coat and gasped. The young man's legs were made of white stone. "What is this?" cried the king. "Why do you have stone legs? Why do the fish talk? What is happening?" "I will tell you," said the young man. "Please sit down and listen. There was once a great city where I was a prince. My father was the king, but when he died, I became king. I married a beautiful woman, but she did not love me. She loved a servant. When I learned about him, I wanted to kill him. We fought, and I hurt him, but I didn't kill him. My wife was angry. She was a witch and changed my legs to stone. After that, 3 mountains and a blue and gold sea appeared in place of the city. She turned the people into fish. There's a small house of white stone in the garden. The servant lives there, but he cannot walk. My wife visits him every day," he added. The king went into the garden and thought for a while. Then he found the white stone house, entered, and killed the servant. He hid the body under the bed and climbed onto it. Some time later, the queen entered and asked, "Are you happy, my dear servant?" "No," said the king. "I cannot sleep. Someone is crying." The young king was crying because of his stone legs. The queen approached him and sprinkled some magic water over his legs. He stood up and walked. Then the king returned to the white stone house. "I cannot sleep," the king said. "The people of the city cry at night. They do not want to be fish." The queen went to the blue and gold sea and said some magic words. Suddenly, a great city appeared around her, and people ran happily through the streets. The queen returned to the white stone house. "Are you happy now, my dear servant?" she asked. "Yes, my love," he said. "Come closer." As she came near, he reached for her. In one hand he had a knife and killed her. Then he returned to the young king. "Your queen is dead. The city and its people are free." The old king and the young king became friends. Their 2 cities helped each other, and no one ate fish again. Tom, the fisherman, and his family were happy. The 2 kings sent them gold and beautiful things. They were never hungry again.